Today I'm inspired about life, for life. And that beautiful quote comes from my guest today, Emeli Paulo. You'll meet her in just a second. Just think about that. How are you inspired by your life? What are the things that you do to rock your life? Well, you're watching Rock Your Life TV, so that's a step in the right direction. And when you finish watching, make sure that you head over to pauladandrea.com/RYLTD so that you can get on the list, get a free gift, and always find out who's coming up, what they're offering, what the topic is for the week. We air every week on Thursday, so get on over. Also on my Facebook page, on PD Fit LA, you'll find me, and with a daily vibe, just to keep you going in between week-to-week segments of Rock Your Life TV. Today you're in for a special treat. You're about ready to meet a superstar from Australia. It is Emeli Paulo. She is a visionary coach. She is a change agent. She's a social entrepreneur, international superstar, ready to rock it out with me to discuss how you can move your fear and start living your life and start rocking your life. Welcome, Emeli.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I think it's so exciting to think here I am in Melbourne, Australia, talking to you over there in Los Angeles and people all around the world. Brilliant. So exciting. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. And not only that, so we're like, totally, other spectrums of the world. You're already like into your next day. I'm kind of creeping into the evening here in Los Angeles, and you just got to love the global factor of that. Mm-hmm. That unites us all. What a wonderful way to stay connected. Just to actually just come together to share a point of view that is so strong, an energy that's so strong in the human potential movement. So, there has got to be something to that. Today I'm inspired about life, for life. That's such a beautiful quote among some of the many other things that I know about you, Emeli. Where did that come from? What was your turning points in your life that have you always been inspired by life? Was there something that kind of, just you needed to get out of to become inspired by life? Tell us a little bit about you and about how you got into being the international superstar that you are.
I think we're all international superstars, aren't we, when we think it through? Look, I think it comes back to really simply, I believe that we were born to be real and not perfect. And that woke me up, that quote recently, again, to what it is that I love living life by, how I love to live my life, I should say. I think it probably, my background or the story, I used to tell myself that I wasn't good enough, and this is a story many of us ordinary human beings live by, and we let ourselves live that out. And I know for me, Paula, I was 15 kilos heavier. I was dealing with the fact that my parents died when I was really young, that sexual abuse around my family and incest and a conversation that never really gets spoken about, to drug and alcohol abuse and overeating. The list goes on, and I was just really trying to hurt myself. And as the years went on, I started to discover, through working with leading a huge youth organisation here in Australia called Reach Foundation, having the most amazing mentors and a most amazing tribe around me of young people, inspiring other young people. We were trained to believe that everything you want can come to you. We were trained to believe that we are our own greatest enemy and our greatest ally. And so from being around such positive people, I started to recognize that this was my purpose in life. And the I'm not good enough story probably wasn't going to cut it anymore. So when I talk about living life well, now I just feel like I just got to be real about it. So yes, I've done all these great things, but I'm just your average human being doing extraordinary things. And so that's the work that I do with people now, is just to think of yourself as a visionary. you think about things in a different way. You believe in the greater potential for the universe. You believe in making a difference. And you're kind to yourself, and you're compassionate. And I feel like every time I work with an individual or with groups of 10 to 1,000 to 15,000, it's the same human spirit that I get in contact with, one that wants to love and live life well. So I feel very blessed to have a story, but to also work with a new way of evolving myself and evolving humanity. Yeah, every day is a new experience with this work. I love it.
No, I love it, and I love what you just shared, and thank you for being, so real and so raw, because it's, I think that for a lot of people who have had darker moments in life, I can totally relate to things that you mentioned that happened earlier in your life, that you finally got into, a group of positive support. Is there any, one thing that that you heard, or maybe somebody shared with you or said to you that really just clicked it for you, or was it just being in that light and in a positive message?
I think there's a few people. One was in Australia. There's quite a famous or infamous man called Jim Steins, who is really well known for being a social entrepreneur and working with teenagers to have the self-belief. And he took me amongst 15 or 20 of us under his wing, and the co-founder of Reach. And he would say to me, "You are not your circumstances. You are what you choose to do with your life." And as a young 17-year-old who didn't have parents and was just doggy paddling her way through life, to have someone stand behind me and say, "You are not what you've experienced," really opened me up as a young person to think, so who am I without my experiences? Oh, who I choose to be. So I would say when I was younger, it was definitely Jim Steins. And the older I've gotten, he's also, look, the list goes on, but I think Solara Green of the Visionary Network has had a huge impact on me. And she talks to you about acknowledging the potential of consciousness, or going out beyond that and expanding yourself as great as the cosmos, and knowing that you are part of a greater picture or a greater source, has really shifted the way I look at myself, that I aren't just an individual, that I'm part of a collective. And I'm still learning about that as I go. But ultimately, the emotions that I'm feeling aren't necessarily real, because what I focus on creates my reality. So if I'm sad, I'll consistently keep feeling as though I'm sad. If I think that I'm not good enough, then I'll consistently think that I'm not good enough. But that's an old way of thinking, I believe. Would you, in a way, that to consistently spend time in that emotion is an old way of living, when in actual fact there's a new way of saying, what's the opportunity here? What's the possibility here? What is it that I can achieve? How can I? What's it going to take? And I think that evolving, that questioning, that possibility, that's living in a new paradigm and a new way of thinking about who you are and your place in the world. Now, it can seem complicated, but it's not. It's actually quite simple when you just start to think about what's the next obvious step that I need to take, versus in the past, I haven't been able to do this, so you stay in the old steps. So I like to think of it as, what's the next obvious step? So I feel like Solara has been a huge, has had a huge influence on me, let alone David Ward and Jan Martinigo from Hillsville here in Australia. They do some terrific work in evolving human beings and transformative work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could go on all day, Paula.
Yeah, there's into that, and the biggest things that I've heard, is that, first of all, that somebody had a belief in you, where you weren't really feeling that for yourself. You didn't have the guidance, having lost your parents and having other things that were happening that started to just kind of have you slide down in who you were. So, belief and support are two really, really important things to help somebody get up and do what I like to call, say, rock a higher vibe. Because when you're in that lower vibration, I fully understand what you were saying about that. Yeah, if you're like, if you're sad all the time, it's a lower vibration, and what happens is that you're not seeing the possibility and the opportunities are still in front of you. The thing is that when you're focused on and caught up in the emotion, you aren't seeing it. So it's really about a matter of being able to, okay, you may relate to it, viewers may relate to this as like a transformation. So how do I transform the moment if I'm feeling like really sad? And it's like, well, just feel it and let it, fill you up. But then after that, then, remove that label. And as you just sit with yourself and feel how much you feel, you're filled up, and that's really your energy force. And then you have a point, and I love that what you said, Emeli, that you actually made a choice, because it is a choice. It may not seem at the time, and trust me, I can say I know from speaking with Emeli, and I know what I've been through in my life as well, is that there's points when so much crap is hitting the fan that there's just chaos in your life, that you're thinking that this is it. You're clouded, and it's why it's important to be able to talk to somebody to pull you forward, to pull you out of that, and just hold up that light so that you can see it and have something. I used to hate that when people would say there's light at the end of the tunnel. I just wanted to go bam. And when I was in my darker moments, I really, you just, those type of expressions, you're just like, shut up, but it's true. And I can joke about it a little bit more as I'm, away from all of that hurt, away from all of the pain. And, and now I believe, for you and I, Emeli, we are the lights. We are the light at the end of the tunnel too, because we've been there. We've been in the dark. We're now standing in a better place. We know how to be able to do that. And I think the thing about it is that there's confusion. There's definitely fear, and that's the thing that stops people from moving forward. So if you have, let's say maybe like 3 to 5 steps that you can give us to just help somebody that may be in that space to go ahead and move forward, how is it that you would shed the light on somebody to take them out of that pain, dark place?
I'd love to. I find that through all of my coaching and all of the workshops that I run here in Australia or online, I choose the 5 steps just to give it some shape and some oomph. And one is to acknowledge that you create your own story. So thinking about that being, what do you want your life to be? What is that vision that you have for it? And to be focusing on that. And to do some work on your beliefs, because I believe that the second step is that your focus creates your reality. That what you think and what you believe and what you've experienced can create the space you live in. So if we can do some work where we can cut through that, whether it be utilizing a psychologist or coaches like us or going to some personal development workshops to refocus, to relook at who you are and what you actually believe about yourself. My third thing is I really do believe in the power of vulnerability. And because I believe that through shame, scarcity and comparison, Brene Brown, who's the researcher that spent 8 years studying the benefits of vulnerability, that we've spent a lot of time in that darker space, but in actual fact, when we can acknowledge or witness the shame that we have from ourselves, the things that feel vulnerable, in actual fact, vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, of innovation, of love, and connection.
I love that because you know what, so many people are, and it does. I love that you're saying that too, Emeli, because for many people, vulnerability is not a safe place. And I do have to say that too, that, I'll take this as a compliment for a lot of people, is that they feel comfortable in I don't know if you experience this too in your life. A lot of people just go, they'll just pour their hearts out, don't know them very well, and then they'll go, oh my gosh, I never told that to anybody. And I take that as a really what a gift.
That's absolutely beautiful.
To just have somebody open up like that.
And I find with all of my work here that people say that was such a beautiful and powerful workshop. They come back, they follow me up again, and I recognize it's because something that I used to judge in myself was my vulnerability, my ability to go there in a conversation, my ability to share with you what I've experienced is actually what unleashes the potential in human beings. And so thankfully I've recognized the power in my own vulnerability, and therefore that gives people permission to shine in their own way.
I love that. I love that, and congratulations in doing that, because it really isn't an easy thing to do. At first, when you're stuck in, I would say this. I reframe that and say, when you're in your lower vibrations and when you're stuck in a story, it is an easy thing to do. But once you find the place where you feel comfortable to be able to do it, man, it is, like you said, it's total freedom. So what's our next step?
Well, my next step kind of helps, well, not kind of, it does help, which is looking at your top resources for you to live the life that you've imagined. So people have areas of focus, don't they? Health, wealth, education, personal growth, spirituality, their career, their education, the list goes on if they want change in these areas. So you start to look at what are the resources around the people, the skills, the knowledge that I could learn to change that. And for me, to heighten or to keep this change sustainable in your life, because we all know we go up and down, but I think that's quite natural to oscillate from where you want to be to where you have been and come back to where you want to be, is looking at the resources. So making sure you know that vulnerability needs to be practiced. So it might be putting in sort of disciplines, rituals that you need to do. So whether that be exercise regularly, or whether that be mindfulness and the power of being self-aware, or looking at asking other people, what do you do to create that change? So I really wholeheartedly believe in handing those empowerment resources to people so that they live an authentic life. It's actually my main mission to do that with people.
Okay,
so from there,
yeah, and I like that too, because then that goes, it's an accountability factor, and it's also, because I want to mention this and I ask you if you find this in your work, that when somebody makes a change, when they've had a major shift to get, quote, out of the story, to get out of the, whatever it is that they've been fearful of, that has held them back in their life, and when they take that step forward and they make the change, there's just no going back. So there are things that do come up, and people need to be aware of that. That'll rock your boat a little bit, and it'll resemble what you dealt with in the past. The thing is that they don't deal with it in the same way. They're stronger. No. They're standing in the power more, and they're anchored better in. So whereas it may come up a little bit, and you'll feel it, and you'll kind of get that pull, but you're not going to get sucked in like you were before, like doing that. And I think that's the major thing, for people to, really take in, to realize and know that, life isn't perfect. Things will come up, but it's like once you kind of like quote get on the other side, it becomes a lot easier.
Absolutely, Paula. I love that, and it will come up. And you know what I like to say, that what really calls out to me, the universe is screaming yes at you. It is screaming, yes, do this, change this, be that. And we say no to it. We say, oh, no, I couldn't possibly. No, my past tells me that I can't. And I am being, and I do that every week. I have to remind myself that it's screaming, yes, live life well. And I even get to the point now that I just giggle at myself when I have to say, I say yes to the no's. Because even when the no's come up, I have to say yes. Because they're going to come up. That's vulnerability. That's part of being a human being. And I somehow have learned Neo-style Matrix that when they come up, I'm flying all over the place saying, no, okay, yes, yes, yes. So I really believe wholeheartedly in that there is great power when you start saying yes to the no's. And some days comes the compassion, isn't it? Of, you know what, I forgive myself on every level and every way for being hard on myself, for being scared of that. And if you can say that more often than you idiot, you did it wrong, then you're halfway there to change, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love that little twist. That was just a great way to,
yes to the nose.
yeah, just kind of like giving something people really positive and something different to say, because that is you know, when someone is caught up, like really heavily caught up in negative self-talk, which is the I can't, I'm stupid, oh, I can't believe I just did it that way, and whatever. It's like, you know, forget, there isn't anything that, and the thing is that where I think people shy away from being vulnerable out of, you know, keep themselves in fear, is because they're looking for perfection. They're going, oh, there has to be a right way to do. There is no right way. There isn't anything to fix. It's like, you know what, you're you. You've had all the experiences that you've had, you know, and just like Emily just said, totally, you know, just pull yourself in, love yourself for all of it. It makes up who you are. Once you become a you, that's
Good
you
point.
know, it's, yeah,
Absolutely.
because that's the thing is that, you know, there's got to be something kind of like buzzing, and I think for a lot of people that is a thing. They, you know, it's like how many hits do you have to take? For me, I was in you know, the Soma syndrome, where you know, I literally got knocked to the ground to, you know, the universe coming in to wake me up, and it took me a little while to get it. So I fully get it. You know, been there,
Absolutely.
done that. Yeah, and the thing is that you can hear it, and you can hear it getting louder, and it's the things that will keep coming up that will, you know, and that's actually really great because it allows you to like see the cycles that you're in. What do you keep repeating? What does the universe have to keep on saying to you to finally like go, oh, okay, that's it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. No, I love that. And I was just thinking, as you were talking, that this is why there are soul brothers and sisters all around the universe doing this. Like, I love listening to you say that just because I go, yes, it's nice to meet a soul sister who I feel the same. And it's with all the clients I meet, I say, you're not alone in this. And I think that being able to have these conversations was quite vulnerable. But again, it's that authenticity. One of my highest values is to be real, to not be a copy, to just be what I need to be unique. And it's wonderful to hear this in these conversations because everyone is doing their best, aren't they?
yeah, you would hope so, you know. And the thing about it is that, you know, we kind of talked about that getting caught up, and you know, just let it go. Of like, you know, make the decision that is going to help your life. And if you need to, like, you know, go and buy a you know, recording, you know, I do them for my clients as too. I'm starting to release them. You know, watch an episode of Rocket Life TV, listen to Emily, you know, watch one of her videos. And the thing is, you know, find it and just seek it out. If you have to, you know, for 2 minutes of your day, hear a positive message to get you going, listen to a positive message to get you going. That's instant support. That's, you know, boom. How can it get any easier than that? I mean, that is, and yeah. And too, I likewise too, I love the reverberation from around the world. So I really, really
that's my fifth point, or my part of my methods, is understanding the power of the collective tribe. In the Western world, we live on our own. We're told to be successes. We're told to live a good life, and we're set in high school and primary school. This is who you need to be. You, it's individual. But then there's the collective that are around you, that you look at Indigenous tribes, or even as my father's background, the Polynesian tribes, where there isn't just one mother and one father. You are brought up by an auntie and uncle. And in the Western world, on my mother's side and the white side, is understanding how to bridge these two. And I feel like the collective tribe, like you're saying, the reverb around the world, is you're actually not alone. That in actual fact, the more time you spend in these groups, these spirituality groups, these human development groups, these people that explore who they are, it's exciting. And you learn so much from so many people. And that's the power of the collective tribe around you. and I just love it. I run programs called The Tribe here in Melbourne. We're about to launch again, and that's teaching people how do you want to thrive professionally in your life and passionately about that. But let's start with who you are first, because if you're going to go off and create a business, or if you're going to go off and launch a new career, or you want to change jobs or go after the thing you're passionate about, most people fail because they don't know who they are and they start to judge themselves. So in my courses, I teach people how to find the resources within them and outside of them. Hence why I call it the internal and external resources, and I bring in experts, spiritual gurus, health gurus, financial gurus, all these areas that we need to change in, and we worked on it together as a group. And they look good, they feel cool, high production value, because we should celebrate ourselves in a really fun, innovative way. And so that's why I love the collective tribe work. I love the power when we're together in groups rather than individuals. And that includes like this online. I love that you do this online. I'm only just moving into this space, so I have deep respect for what you're doing out here too, Paula.
Oh, thank you so much, Emeli, and I can't wait to have you come back again and visit us on Rocky Life TV. I have totally enjoyed having you here. You've given great information for audience to start, something to think in. What I would like you to do is please offer your information, like how can somebody become part of your tribe, because your passion is so brazen, you're so full of life, you really are inspired about life, for life. And I love that quote. So how can people find you, and how can they, start into your movement?
I'd love for you to contact me. Yeah, last night I was at a gig and I was handing out my mobile number to the whole workshop, and they're like, you can't give your number. And I said, yes, I can, because if you need to contact me to do this work, then why wouldn't you just call me? Now, of course, it is around the world, but the same thing is my website is www.emelipaulo.com, and the spelling is just underneath here. So please look me up. Contact me through there if you're around the world. And I do Skype and Google Hangout sessions. Well, now I do Google Hangout, thanks to Paula, sessions for people around the world. So my clients are across Australia, across the world, and really it's 90-minute sessions to look at who you are. And then, of course, unfortunately, if you're not from Australia, it's going to be a little bit hard until the end of the year, but until we get our online webinars up. But in Australia, you can come to the tribe, and I would look up Emeli Paulo official on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/Emeli Paulo official, and you can sign up there, and I can send you out the information. But It's a really exciting time for me. Really exciting.
It is. Oh, good. Well, I love that we're getting you in the breakout. So I think we're going to have call you back and see where you're coming up. So it's EMELIPAULO.com. How you find Emeli Paulo, and it's such a pleasure to have you here to connect with you, Emeli. And you know what?
I loved it.
Yeah, and I apologize. You know what? Go ahead and spell your name, because I think I just mispronounced it. I think I said
no, that's okay. It's Polynesian.
It's like the same as mine, except so it's EMELIPAULO.com, and that's how you can find Emeli. She is totally rocking it, and so
let's get others rocking it. You, anyone.
We are inspired about life. We want you to be inspired about life and rock your life. So head over to pauladandrea.com/RYLTV, get a free gift, get on our list so that you can come back and join us for more people who rock. I'm Paula D'Andrea in Los Angeles. I've got Emeli Paulo in Australia. We're signing off. Join us again next week for Rock Your Life TV. In the meantime, be inspired by life and rock yourself out.